Hey, what's up? This is Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz. This is my weekly video blog called Bullheaded, a review of the Houston Texans news as well as a preview of the upcoming game matchups. So, this week, the 0-3 Texans are going to be coming back home, this time to take on an 0-3 Minnesota Vikings team. But before I get into the breakdown, let me just give a couple of recaps from the Week 3 loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, O-line, right off the bat, they really didn't play that great. They gave up 5 sacks, and in addition to that, once again, they couldn't get anything going off the run. So in that running game, it's just been atrocious like all season. So there's no real new storyline from that. I think the biggest thing about this game was that it was close. Ravens and Chiefs games, they were blowouts. This one, 28-21, a little bit close, but it still stings just as much. I think I typed in my Facebook recap the other day that, sometimes the closer games, they hurt just a little bit more, only because it's like, you're right there you're right there for a win, and all of a sudden, it's just not there anymore. So, one or two plays, changes could, mess up the whole game plan. So, you just have to go back to the drawing board as opposed to like a blowout when it's like, a team just beats you right from the jump, and they were just a better team from beginning to end. So, second big thing about this game too was that Texans had a 14-3 lead early in the first half, and they blew that. They ended up finishing the first half with a 21-17 lead, but then they came back out in the second half and they blew that. Got shut out in the second half. Got shut out by like having the Pittsburgh Steelers score 11 straight points, which is kind of weak in my opinion. But hey, when your record is who it says you are, however that quote goes, but. Yeah, man, 0-3 teams gonna do 0-3 things. So that was just it was just a tough game to lose, knowing that it's a tough game to lose, knowing that we could have won it at different points in the game had we just played just a little bit better, especially on offense. Offense couldn't get nothing going in the second half, particularly in the third quarter. They really weren't getting the ball moved around, and so. It cost us points, obviously. So here we are sitting at 0-3. Hopefully they get it together and, get things, hopefully a close loss is a sign that, we'll be closer to a win this season. So we'll see how that goes. So enough rambling about that. One thing I want to touch on before I get into the game suggestions, the Earl Thomas news. So earlier in the week, it was reported, Earl Thomas was, coming down to the Houston, coming down to Houston, to get worked out or whatever. And then I think around the time that all the players from the Titans and all the players from the Titans had tested positive for COVID. Texans kind of just, put a kibosh to that thing. And so, they just kind of, for right now, it's just something that might happen down the line, might not happen down the line. It's just an opportunity that just really didn't fit the timing of it as well. But be that as it may, I just got a couple of thoughts about the Earl Thomas thing. So when I first heard about it, it threw me for a little bit of a loop. Because I didn't think we needed Earl Thomas per se. Like, I mean, our secondary might be struggling, but then again, our whole team is struggling. So we could have used anybody. We could use anybody right now, to be honest with you. But I figured it kind of threw me for a loop. But I mean, this isn't a bad thing at all. I mean, it's Earl Thomas. Now, granted, last couple of years, Earl Thomas has been in, he's been making headlines for like, some of the wrong things. He flipped off the Seattle Seahawks sideline. He had that whole issue that whole domestic dispute with his wife and everything, which he was the victim of or whatever. And then back in during training camp or whatever, he had picked a fight with a teammate when he was with the Ravens, and so it's a lot of things that's kind of like maybe GMs and coaches will probably be like, I don't know. Probably some things with that players might be like, oh, I don't know if this is a good thing. But at the end of the day, I think what it really was, who it really could have like just really really could have riled up the fans in a good way. It's been a lot of, it's been ain't no quite. It's been a bunch of negative stuff thrown up on this team, since the beginning of the season. Hell, since O'Brien took over as GM, a lot of people have said a lot of, crazy, have talked crazy about the Texans, and deservedly so. But what I will say is, if Earl Thomas came in here, the fans they know they know about the incidents, but they also know what he can do as a football player, and I think a lot of fans would really get excited about that. Not sure they would be all the way behind O'Brien as a GM. I'm not sure that. And I'm not sure signing Earl Thomas would be the move to throw people behind him. As a GM or whatever, but I think a lot of people would, welcome that signing just to put a jolt in this secondary, put a jolt in our defense overall, and just get back to being competitive as we were. So, nothing wrong with it. Hopefully it worked. Hopefully we can revisit it, but if not, then no spill milk. We'll just try to get things going moving forward. So, with that being said, time for this Sunday's game. So Texans coming home 0-3, and they're looking to get their first win. And what better timing to get the first win than with a Vikings team that's also 0-3 and experiencing a little bit of issues on their offensive side of the ball as well. Kind of funny to say that, considering they just scored like 30 plus points, or scored 30 points last week. But just the way they're ranked right now, it's kind of telling of some of the struggles that they've been having. Couple of things also. I mentioned about the Titans players being affected by, also testing positive for COVID. So the Vikings played the Titans last Sunday, and so when they found out about the positive test from the Titans, they had to adjust some of their things. They had to shut down their facilities. They had to limit their in-person activities. So number one, that could be an effect on them heading into this game, knowing that they probably have to cut off some of their practice time and travel time and all that stuff, just to kind of keep safe and just be wary of if any of their players or employees contracted the virus, and making sure that they're all safe and everything. So that could probably play an effect on them coming into this game, especially if they're on the road. So I would definitely say Texans need to take advantage of that, find a way to take advantage of that, as far as with their preparation or lack thereof. Excuse me. So the next thing I wanted to say, down here in the notes I have make them throw the ball, but I kind of wanted to put a slash as far as keeping the ball out of Dalvin Cook's hands. This guy's the third leading rusher in the league right now, Minnesota, they're 8th overall running the ball. But as far as passing the ball goes, they're right now at 29th in passing offense. Last week they, kind of had a little bit of a good game. Their rookie Justin Jefferson went off for a $175. $175. So, but they don't have Stephon Diggs anymore. They still got Adam Thielen over there. So Kirk Cousins has that to work with. So I would definitely say just try to challenge them in throwing the football. and just really keeping them away from the run, because their run is their best option right now. Like I said, the eighth overall running the football, and Dalvin Cook. I mean, he's a beast. He'll slice you up inside. Definitely will get you on the outside. So I would definitely say, if anything, if you can find ways to contain him, go ahead and do that, and just kind of make them into a passing. Yeah, just make them into a passing team that day, and definitely just make sure you can get Kirk Cousins to stay dropping back, and heighten the chances up for him getting for him getting sacked. Um, so yeah, definitely force them to put out their 29th ranked passing, put their 29th ranked passing offense into action. As far as us go, what we need to do on offense is kind of the flip side, and that's enhance our passing game. So the Vikings secondary, 28th against the pass, and also this season, we've had 3 straight games where the receiving group has had a player that went for like 90 plus yards. And so I say that to say this. Um, it's been a different receiver each week that's kind of like, been the, spotlight or whatever. As far as, yeah, it's been like putting up like the playmaking numbers or whatever. First week it was Will, yeah. First week it was Will Fuller. He had like he had like 8 catches for 102. This week it was Randall Cobb. He was 4 catches for 94 yards. Let me see if I can pull up last week's. Last week I think it was Cooks that had the numbers. Yeah. Last week it was Cooks. He had 5 catches for 95 yards. So, that's 3 straight games that we had a receiver like, touch 90 plus. So what needs to happen, and even then, and what needs to happen really is more so the fact that the ball just needs to be spread around just a little bit more. When the football is spread around, when the wealth is spread around a little bit, we do really great things. Like even with last week, as far as the receiving touchdowns go, Randall Cobb had a touchdown. Will Fuller had a touchdown. Just things like that. Just get different guys to like try to make plays at different points of the game if you have to. It's just mainly keeping these receivers involved and engaged in these games, so they'll have the energy to go out and beat these cornerbacks and make their catches or whatever. This will be the perfect game to do that in. Like I said, the Vikings are 28th against the pass, and just the 28th against the pass, and I mean. Other than that, what I'm trying to say is this will be the game to like just kind of bring everything about this offense like into the fold. Like there's been flashes of greatness, but there's been a lot of flashes of badness. So for this one, receiving group, I think they're a vital part of this offense, big time. Like. They probably haven't played like it, but if they can get like some success, like if they can enhance the success of what they got, of what they done last week, then this team could really, 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 this team could really go far and just really turn their whole season around. Because they got 2 touchdowns out their receiving group, and so that. That really kind of helped the offense, kind of control things, just really, really just kept them in the game as opposed to the last 2 games where it was just like, nobody really got that many, nobody, it was just like one person taking over, like one receiver taking over for like the whole game or whatever. Just pretty much spread the wealth amongst the receiving groups and then let it trickle down to like the tight ends or whoever. Duke Johnson is supposed to be coming back, so he'll be good for catching the ball out of the backfield as well. So that's another option for you right there. So just pretty much spread the ball around amongst the receiving group. So those are my three things. Just take advantage of the Vikings. Yeah, my three suggestions for the Texans, man. Take advantage of the Vikings as they're affected by the COVID protocol procedures. Force them to throw the ball. Force them to throw the ball as opposed to running it, and also enhance our passing game. Just pretty much spread the ball around to the receiving groups, and then to the wide receivers, and then like kind of hit the tight ends and running backs after that. Texans do those three things, they should be able to walk away with a W at home. Where fans may or may not be at this game, depending on how this whole COVID thing really, how these COVID procedures really play out with the league. But listen, man, fans or no fans, Texans got to win this game for sure, for sure. So that's all I got for y'all this week. I'm Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz. Holla black.